You only can get purpose by tapping into your personal relationship with God and spending time understanding from Him who you're called to be.
And yes, it go one, two, three. I got to be a beast and be like 1, 2, 3. I'm hot, watch me unleash and it go 1, 2, 3. When you know that you the best out, chest out. I'm saying I got now, forget the rest now. 1, 2, 3. I got to be a beast and be like 1, 2, 3. I'm hot, watch me unleash and it go 1, 2, 3. When you know that you the best out, chest out. I'm saying I got now, forget the rest now. I rap with the soul of Frankie Beverly, amazed on these graceful beats, forever heavenly. There'll never be none after me unless we talking let us see, but let us see. Begin on high notes like I'm lettuce. It's the real dreamer and artist formerly known.
What's going on, everybody? This is your boy K Noel. Relentless Conversations. We're coming back again. Hey, I had to change up the look a little bit. You see, your boy got on a hat. I know it's something different. New season, new things. So we're coming hard this season. I told you I'm leaving nothing behind. I'm knocking down all the walls. We're leaving no crumbs on the table. So just to tell y'all a little story of what's been going on since I've been gone. I started a new venture, a new business, social media management. So on the way, I met a lot of people. I'm talking about, man, they heavy in their bag. They're steady dropping gems. All of that, you know, I don't just deal with anybody. But I'm happy to introduce this guy. Though we do business together, he also became a brother to me. So I want y'all to accept him with open arms. So I'm happy to introduce my brother, Chizzy. Chizzy, yo, what's going on, bro?
What's going on, man? What's up, my guy? Man, it's good to see you. I'm glad you're back in your bag doing your thing, man. I really, really, really enjoy the time you're spending together, man. Like it's like you said, man. You become somebody I really look toward for friendship, for brotherhood, man. So I'm happy you're back doing your thing, man. I love it. I love it. What's going on with you, man? How you been?
Man, all is well, man. Just chilling, man. How's everything looking in Canada?
Man, right now it's looking okay, man. You know, it's a lot warmer. I'm happy about that. You know, I'm got on a hoodie now, but of course, you know, days is getting nice. The sun's out. You know, I'm here with my kids. I get to experience, you know, parenting 100%. And I guess we'll get into a little bit about my story and what led me to come to Canada. You know, at this particular point in my life. But Canada's looking good, man. Canada's looking good. You know, it's not always great, but I'm thankful and I'm blessed to be able to be here, man. It's amazing.
No doubt. Y'all don't have the cicadas up there?
Cicadas? No, 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 not at all.
Bro, we fight cicadas left and right down here.
Oh, for real? You gotta come on singing.
Oh yeah, man, it's raining cicadas.
Okay, jeez, nah, we don't have that. We have a whole bunch of snow. That's the other thing we be fighting up here. A whole bunch of snow and cool weather, man. But it's nice. It's nice. I live in a nice area, very calm, very very family oriented.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to just be here and endeavor to start this next phase of my life, man. We go get into that too.
That. So, man, I want you to do something for me.
Sure.
I want you to tell me who is Chizzy, who was Chizzy before the person that we see today.
Wow, that's a great question. Well, the name itself, I remember as a kid, my name is Che, short. So Chizzy was an extension of Che, but I always wanted a nickname, right? I don't know, for some reason, I always thought Che was short enough. I guess people didn't think it was nickname-ish. But Chizzy came from me playing basketball in Bermuda. So all my basketball brothers, they called me Chizzy. One of my good friends. One day we were just on the court, and he just started calling me Chizzy and just stuck. And I was like, yes, finally. And I'm talking about a grown man here, one of the nicknames. So from then, I just started being called Chizzy. Um, that was my days in Bermuda. Lived in Bermuda my entire life. Grew up playing ball, going to church. I'm a PK as well. I guess we're gonna get into that as well. But Chizzy back then, you know, and as we know, the journey continue. You continue to evolve as a man. So, I never saw myself to be a rambunctious kid who got into a lot of trouble, but I've always tried to navigate the space of learning who I am, what my passions are, and how I wanted my legacy to be defined as I got older. So in Bermuda, I was involved a lot of community stuff, work with young people, work with kids. But there was still something in me that said I still haven't fully come into my own in terms of what my ultimate purpose is. Um, if you know me on the basketball court, man, I was a beast. I had a lot of anger. I used to tell my parents before they came to my games, the person you see on the court and the person outside of the court are two very different people. So I would get in games and, I would get, volatile. I'm talking like times where I've cursed off the ref and wanted to fight players and throwing chairs and tables on the court and frustration. So I knew there was an anger side of me that I really, really needed to address, man. And so, you know, as you get older, you start to evaluate, you have life experiences, and then you're like, man, I need to really, really step back and find out what's going on inside of me that makes me. There's one thing that passion for sport. There's another thing, to turn that passion into aggression and some level of violence, man. So, you know, that former Chizzy and this guy you see today, it's almost. I like to believe it's almost night and day in terms of how I approach situations and how I handle aggression and violence and how I handle my attitude and how I show up in certain situations. Um, so you knew a little bit of the refined Chizzy. You met me on that transition. And I wasn't extremely violent. I'm not out here, beating people up and getting into fights. But I did notice that in times where I felt that, my reputation was challenged, my ego was challenged, the violent, aggressive Chizzy will come out, man. So I'm happy to be able to have that quote unquote beast under control right now, because I think we all struggle with some level of a beast within that needs to be controlled and managed and nurtured in a more positive way. So I'm happy to be in a different space now where I can really, really just, be proactive about my reactions as opposed to just reactionary. So
Man, you said a mouthful. I
yeah.
could definitely relate
Hmm.
to having those anger issues with growing up,
Yeah.
because the person you see now is nothing like the person you seen over 20 years ago.
Facts.
I
Facts.
told you a little bit about my past.
Yeah,
So,
man.
yeah, I could definitely relate.
It's 100%.
So tell me
100%.
this, after basketball,
Hmm.
what did the journey to the purpose look like?
I've always had a desire, had a yearning. Altruism is a word that I use. It just simply means that you have an innate desire to either serve or to do things that's greater than self. I think the anger part and post basketball, I think it just lends to my analysis of myself. And if I need to function in a particular space, there are certain things that I really, really need to address, things that I really need to take some serious time to chip away at. And so for me, it was that anger boy, it was that entitlement. It was a lot of things that I struggled with as a young person, acceptance, things that I would do, and I felt I had to acclimate to just so that I could be a part of a particular group, so people can accept me in a particular way. And I think now I've come to a space where I really don't care how you receive me, and I don't look for validation from other people in terms of how they view me. And I guess that comes with walking and finding your purpose and understanding that you get your strength through God. You get your strength through your relationship with people who can hold you accountable, who can help to bring you to a space of really just walking in what God has for you and understanding what your role here is on that planet. And of course, our friendship, and you've been very helpful and instrumental in that. You probably don't know this, but I definitely gain a lot of inspiration from you because, like you said, you told me a little bit about your story, and I know it's almost like every day you sometimes you reveal more and more stuff about you, and you probably don't notice that you're doing it. But when you say stuff to me, like when you was incarcerated or when you was in the streets, I'm like, man, not this guy that I know, not this loving, caring, amazing, nurturing brother that I see today. So unbeknownst to you, that's very inspirational too, and it demonstrates what it means to really, really walk and live in your purpose and actualize that in a way where who people can receive you in a particular way so you get the best possible outcome, man. So I want to thank you openly for that, my guy, because you definitely inspire me in a lot of ways to really, really just look within self and say, man, this guy that I struggle with is not the guy that I want to be. And why? And I have to find ways to live and walk in purpose so that the people around me can really benefit from that journey.
Man, first of all, I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah,
Cause you've been there for me in those dark hours in my life.
for sure. I
Uh,
think that's what it's about, man. That's really what it's about, for sure.
yeah, and I'll say this as a regards to my past, and I'm talking
Yeah,
about even currently. I
yeah,
had to learn how to be not passive. I had to learn how to
hmm
balance from the guy I used to be to
hmm
who I am now. And
yeah.
and what I mean is I went from being crazy K to
Yeah.
passive K.
Okay.
And I was just having a conversation with my therapist yesterday.
hmm
And we was talking about these things, and I'm saying I'm demanding my respect now. And
Yeah.
she added something to it. And she said, you're also demanding your respect from yourself.
Sure.
And so it was times that I was afraid of doing certain things because I didn't want to look like the person I used to be. Because
hmm
even though I'm walking in this new person, I'm walking in purpose, I didn't want to seem like, oh, he's just still crazy K. Oh, look at him. He just trying to hustle or something like that. But,
Yeah.
I can still be who I am now and still tap in the lessons that I learned from who I used to be without fully tapping into that person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so s- that's a lessons for me.
For sure. For sure. Now I definitely can relate. I was at a barbecue yesterday with some friends, and you know, I even know now that there are certain things I just don't, certain conversations I don't engage in, certain things that I just don't accept. And before, um, I would try to just be in a space and adapt to that environment in a negative way. Now it's just like, so even yesterday I'm sitting there, we were talking about basketball, and um, my friend who knows me, it was his brother. He was like, "Yo, man, discuss about your podcast and what you got going on and sort of thing." And so we started, I started telling him a little bit about Boy Man King. Shout out to Coach Crump, my co-host here at Boy Man King. We started talking about spirituality, and we started talking about mental health, and your room just went silent. And it was surprising to me because I thought, in my mind, because we talk about these things all the time, and these are conversations that we continually have with our circle. And and I don't know why it surprised me, but it was surprising to me that brothers just weren't even trying to engage on that level, and they were listening to me, and they were supportive, and they say, "Yo, I'm gonna check out your podcast," and But in terms of really, really getting to when you start really talking to other men, grown men, about mental health, about choices, about purpose, about spirituality, about God, even that conversation shifts for a lot of people, and so I found that interesting. And so whereas before I probably wouldn't engage in a certain level because I would kind of feel as though people would judge me or make me feel some type of way because I occupy a different space. Whereas now I'm just like, man, this is who I am. This is what I feel I'm passionate about. This is the purpose that I found just through my relationship with God, my relationship with yourself and other brothers and Crump and other people that we associate with. And I'm just like, nah, man, I'm not gonna I'm gonna let this light shine, and people's gonna see really and truly who I am. And I don't care if you judge me, and I don't care if you look at me like, man, why is this guy sitting there talking about mental health? Why is he? Why like? You a grown 6'3", 250-pound man. Like, why? We don't need to hear none of this. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure you've had experiences as well where people just shy away from vulnerability and talking about this, even the problems and challenges that they've had and how they've shown up in certain spaces. So I'm happy and I'm honored and I look forward to having those conversations and being sort of at the forefront of advocating for mental health and spirituality and getting to understand self so that you show up in a space where you can really, really, like you said, walk in your purpose, my guy. So
Man, it's funny how as we grow, not only do our conversations change, that comes with the territory. Our language change,
yeah,
but even the people around us change.
facts,
But
facts.
one thing I will say is not to leave the people from the past behind.
Yeah.
And just like you doing, you're speaking that new language to them. Word to Nipsey, one of my favorite quotes from one of his songs. That's why they follow me home. They think I know the way. So
Okay.
we know the way to a new life. So
Yeah.
it is our job to lead them to that new life, to lead them to a new way of thinking. Yeah, they may not want to accept it right now. It is what it is. But we keep planting those seeds because as we're speaking, as we're being who we are now, as we're walking in purpose, we're planting seeds. And, like with a big tree, sometimes it takes years to grow. It was seeds that my uncle planted in me as a teenager that didn't even grow till I made the change in my life.
Right.
Because we all have those moments where God is going to put us in a corner and it's either we're going to turn to him or else.
Facts.
And it's one of those where God is saying, I wish that you choose life.
Yeah.
So we're just the messengers on the way. We're setting them up for the grand test that they're going to have to take. Because later on down the road, life is going to hit them. And it's going to be, and all of a sudden, I remember everything that Chizzy said. I remember everything that Kay said. It's like it's all going to come flooding in them.
Facts. And it's strange because you've had that experience. I've had that experience. But sometimes, the truth be told, bro, sometimes you're just like, I don't want other people to get to rock bottom before they have that aha moment.
Facts.
And as we do, sometimes it has to happen that way. Sometimes God has to bring you to your knees to bring you to your knees. You know what I'm saying? If you get my metaphor, you get what I mean? But, as you said, like with your close friends, you can kind of almost anticipate and see, some of the paths that they're taking. But then, it's a fine dance and fine line between, because make no mistake about it, people don't receive a change in you, the way that that it should be received. So, I'm pretty sure you have friends who's like, man, it's just the same guy. It's just a phase it's going through. It's just something it's just really just trying just trying to maximize a lane because, you know, the hot topic is mental health. The hot topic is spirituality and transformation. I remember the times where we was running around the streets trying to chase girls and getting drunk and doing all that type of stuff. Like, he'll come back. So, you know, you got a lot of people, naysayers and people out there that still want to keep you in that box and not ready to receive, you know, the new version of you that you love and you enjoy and you embody in everything that you do. You know what I mean? So that's where it's important to just really, really, really be consistent and really, really continue to build on your new character that you're endeavoring to have and this new person and this new journey you're trying to take. Because, you know, it's not an easy road, man. It's easy to walk outside your house and get involved in any manner of mess stuff that you've done in the past, because that those things are easy to come on. It's very difficult to walk a path of righteousness. And again, we're not sitting here saying that we're better than anybody, that we have it all figured out, that there are days where we don't feel like we should regress and it's easier to go back to the old ways. But now the difference is we have a different measurement for how we conduct our lives and what were the tools that we use to continue to take us on that positive path, on that spiritual path, man. But it's not easy. I'm pretty sure you know it's not easy. Like some days you get up and the wrong person might say the wrong thing to you and you want to just revert back to that you're like, then you step back and I'm like, nah, man, nah. Let me draw from a verse. Let me draw from something so that I can, you know, I could still demonstrate that, you know, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy anymore. So, and you know, it's a continuous thing. It's a journey. It's not a destination, as we know, right? We dropping gems, man. We dropping gems, man.
Oh yeah, man.
You
You speaking big facts. And I also add this, even for us as believers, it is our responsibility to make disciples of the nations.
Yeah.
And just like I was just saying, you know, we're just planting the seeds. Somebody else, God may send the water. And then God, of course, he gets the increase.
I like that.
So you know, I take that responsibility, you know, through different tools, through different methods of speaking life into people. You know, when I'm doing the podcast, when I'm speaking, when I'm writing my books, even content creation, though it may seem like little things to people, it's gonna be something life-changing and big. You know, we seen that in the first year of the conference. Someone found Boy Man King just from the content.
Yeah.
So what may look like a small thing to someone else is something big to someone else. It's life changing. It's that thing like I needed this. This is the water that brought life to me. So, and I never take the content lightly. I actually saw a post from Marcus Rozier yesterday. Okay. And it said, you think it's easy. I'm paraphrasing it. You think it's easy posting content. That is a big step, just posting the content on the internet.
You gotta tell me, bro. Trust me.
Yeah, because we see how it goes. It just one thing can change somebody's life or it can hurt them.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because just as I was sitting there before we came on, I'm saying, on the couch, you see my little shameless plug here on the couch. You were instrumental and I have to give you your flowers so that you were instrumental in helping me to get to a space where, like you said, where posting content becomes a part of what it is we do, a part of the messaging, a part of our ability to really, really tap into stuff that we've learned and stuff that I've learned and things that I even struggle with for the benefit of other people. And to your point, when I sit here and think about, okay, I got to record some stuff on the Couch for the Week, and I'm very intentional in terms of the message that I want to send and how do I want to make the audience feel when they see that 60-second clip. And for me, it's a 60 seconds that I have to really put something impactful. It may not be something grandiose and great, but all it requires sometimes is for the right person to see a small little clip and be like, yo, this is helping me for the day. And that's consciously what I think about. But of course, I also am considering what is that going to look like years down the street when somebody looks back and they look at On the Couch, because you have to, it's important to make it relevant so it's timeless. And so no matter when somebody looks at it, it's still relevant, it's still usable, and it's something that they could benefit from every day. And like you said, it's not easy to do because sometimes the emotions of whatever you're going through in the day can come out in some of the stuff that you put out there. And next thing you know, you may have put something because once you put it on the internet, as we know, it's there for good. It's there forever. It's there forever. And so you have to be very mindful and careful about centering yourself. So what my process is before I go, I either would read a scripture or I'll watch either one of our podcasts or one of your podcasts, or I'll watch something puts me in the right mind state and frame of mind so that when I now start to record, everything that comes out of me is something that's beneficial to somebody else. And I'm not making it about me, and I'm not doing it grandstanding, because there are a lot, there's a lot of content, people that do content that want the glitz and glamour and the fame that comes with people watching your stuff. You know what I mean? And, we talk about this all the time. I talk about this with Crump. Whether it's one person watching or a million people watching, we just want to make sure that we're putting out quality stuff so that somebody who watches and anyone that watches can say, this message resonates with me. And it's not about me as the messenger. We're just a conduit, and we get inspiration from God, from life experiences, from things that we struggle with, for the purpose, for the benefit of other people. And so, for all those people that are out there considering, jumping into this space, my little point of recommendation would be try to just ensure that you are not the center of what you're talking about. Everything that you're speaking about is for the benefit of someone else, so that you don't now start to idolize yourself and all the response that you get from other people, and it turns into, you make it about you as opposed to the message that you're trying to send, and you living in that purpose and speaking in that particular light. So yeah, man.
I first want to call Cap. Man, your video be longer than 1 minute. I have to edit them down.
I love it. I love it. I mean, it's hard, man. I mean, 60 seconds is 60 seconds. And sometimes you get in a space where you're talking, and in my mind, I'm like, all right, gotta keep it at 60 seconds. Sometimes you be at 113, 117. I'm like, man, I'm sorry, man. You gotta cut it down to a minute for me, man. But I had to rant on this a little bit. So I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna be better, man.
But I will say this as it pertains to purpose. Lesson for our listeners and viewers. Don't take this thing called purpose lightly. It is something serious. And sometimes we get so caught up in the money, the fame. Like Tupac said, my people want the fame. But don't forget about purpose, because God put you here for a purpose, for a reason. And the things that you're going through is to help somebody else.
Sure.
And I think about that. I think about it all the time. Okay, so what's the lesson in this? What can I learn from this? Not only that, how can I take this lesson to help somebody else? So we have to keep the main thing the main thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. The money will come.
sure.
But like you said, let's not make a god of that and forget the God of our purpose.
Purpose. Yeah, I was
Because
gonna say that, man.
as when we're following Him, all other
Yeah,
things will be added unto us. So
right,
it's a
right.
matter of trusting Him and
Hmm.
knowing who we are in Him. And as we know who we are in Him, He will reveal to us who we are on earth. Thy will be done on
Yes.
earth as it is in heaven.
Yes,
And
sir.
so again, we have to keep the main thing the main thing.
For sure. Yeah, man, let me just say, man, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna be 100 with you right now, my guy.
Go ahead.
Like this purpose journey, daily, consistently, I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, man, I don't want to drop this ball on purpose. And we put out content. I love the space that we're in. I love sitting and I talking with you and being on the pod and doing on the couch. But every day I'm thinking, am I really actualizing this purpose thing in a way for me that's maximizing what God has blessed me with?
Yeah.
And every day. So even last night, all week it's been a word week, and I'm just gonna be a little transparent. All week I've had feelings of, man, why I'm in questioning God, and we've talked about this offline about really trying to tap into, for me, what's how am I gonna transition across a path, you know, into this new phase. And there's some struggles that I'm struggling with as it relates to this Canada life. You asked me earlier how's things in Canada, and I said it's great, but it could be better. And so it's amazing how even you, me, and I talking today is giving me the inspiration and it's giving me that fire that needs to be continually lit so that when I personally finish this conversation with you, I feel reinvigorated now. I feel like just us sitting here talking about this, it's lighting up another flame in me for the benefit of walking and really, really taking necessary steps to walking in that purpose. I originally came here to go back to school. I have a passion for mental health, as we talked about. Counseling. I'm endeavoring to get my master's in counseling. Along the way, things have happened where I had to now shift and find another way to get to a different result. And so it's amazing how in the moments where you feel despair, like I was feeling like, I don't know, like if I can continue on this journey, bro. I'm being honest with you. But just sitting talking with you and being in the space and knowing that, you know, what we're doing is so vital and is necessary. It's giving me the inspiration that I need today and moving forward, continually. Because make no mistake about it, like, as you know, there are days where you feel like packing it in and saying, man, this is not all worth it. And it's hard and it's a struggle. And you can see the end result. But sometimes along the journey, you know, it's hard to really live in that end result because the motivation for me, I don't know, you could probably speak to this too. The motivation for me is seeing that how many people can benefit from my passion and how many people can benefit from what I'm endeavoring to do with not just with only coach and Boy Man King, but with everything that I'm called to do for other people. But then the steps to get there sometimes are extremely difficult. And so just having this conversation to learn, And again, I want to thank you again for asking me to participate in this interview on your platform, because you guys don't really understand how helpful and enriching it is to just sit and talk and to function in this space. And I know we're talking sometimes for the benefit of other people, and other people who watch your platform and my platform can benefit from it. But it's more helpful to me than you would ever imagine. So that was a long rant just to say, man, I appreciate it. I love it. I feel encouraged just by this conversation, and you doing what you're doing. You asking me to be a participant, be a part of this, and I really feel inspired even more to continue on this journey of developing me so that other people can benefit from that.
Man, one thing I will say about God and purpose,
Yeah,
you will continually be in a place where God is birthing you. And one thing about being birthed is very uncomfortable.
sure.
Very. And sometimes things seem rocky, and you wonder, like, okay, what's going on here? And what it is God recognizes that you're in a place of being comfortable. And it's like, now I got to get you out of your comfort zone. Now I got to push you to this next level that you're in. And once you get there, you'll see that all things work together for the good, those who love God and who are called to his purpose.
And I think that's a critical piece to that verse, being called to his purpose. Because, we often hear the first part, all things work together for good. But the call to his purpose is the caveat, it's the critical piece to that verse. Because when you're called to your purpose, you already knew it's divinely inspired. And so everything that you do after that, once you tap into that purpose through God, it's going to work out for good. It's going to work out for good. And I think people look at the working out for good part, forgetting also that it only works out for good once you tap into your purpose through God, man. So that's an amazing verse, man. That's an amazing verse, and you really dissect it. For sure.
So what we finna do now, we finna transition a little bit.
Okay.
So in your interview form, I asked you who were your favorite speakers.
So, I can't remember what it is, to be honest.
Yeah, I know. But it was one of them I had to pick. I do work for him as well, so I had a little insider to a lot of all of his content. So
sure.
We're going to watch this video, and then we're going to do a breakdown. We're going to talk about it.
Okay.
All right, so let's make this transition.
And all I did was looked at my older siblings, and I wanted to do what they did. I wanted to say what they said. I wanted to dress how they dressed. But then I found out that I couldn't do what they did the way they did it when they did it. So I had to find out what that thing is about me that's unique. What that thing is about me that's significant, that's important. And I discovered my voice. And not only did I discover my voice, but I discovered that I had a purpose. And with that purpose came a passion. And that desire was to not only see a better world, not to only change the world, but actually change myself so that I can be that change that I wanted to see.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard me all that time. Like, I remember, and of course, are you going to tell the people who that was? I couldn't see the clip, but I know I recognize your voice, of course. You gonna let people know who that was, or you want me say
I'll let you go ahead and do the honors.
Okay. Yeah, that's my man, Demond Poop, man. I remember when I met Demond, right? And I can't front like Demond, obviously closer than you're closer to Demond than I am. But I remember the first time meeting him, he was on season 1 of Boy Man King, and I was just captivated by his passion his passion, his passion, his passion. Outside of his very catchy tagline, purpose of appointment, yeah, like these things resonate with me. And I always was like, man, this is a powerful brother. And it's, if you know Damon's story, streets, what I'm saying, Atlanta, you know, his path could have been very, very different. And that's the beautiful thing about purpose, right? When a man taps into his purpose, the whole trajectory changes. You got what I'm saying? Because you can be powerful in whatever lane you choose to be in. And that comes to the negative as well. When you enter in that street life, there's power in that street life. You could speak to this a lot better than I could, obviously. But I was so captivated by Damon's passion, his story, and just his ethos and how he approaches the work that he does with the community and the kids, and I love listening to Damon speak. I could go on and on about Damon, man, but I actually missed him at the conference. I was looking forward to catching up with him at the conference, and I was a little bummed out that he wasn't there, because last year he was there, and his energy is so infectious. He just has his spirit about him that's welcoming, and that's infectious. So I shout out to Damon, man, and hopefully we'll see you next year at King Kong. I know he's busy doing his thing. He does a lot of speaking engagements, around the States and all over. So he works a lot with the kids as well, man. So Demont, man, yeah, that's my guy. That's my guy. That's my guy. That's my guy.
That's definitely my brother.
Yeah.
I when I saw his name on there, I said I had to grab it. So, but
he probably doesn't even know that I really, 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 really gravitate towards his style, because I think that he has a niche, because he's relatable to so many brothers who not necessarily may not relate to me. I find myself, I'm clean cut. I'm not from the streets by any stretch of the imagination. I have a passion. I just have a passion for living in purpose and helping people and being a resource to people. But when you have a brother like Damont, who's from the streets, who's found purpose, who's living in that purpose, who talks and walks and is relatable to that population, like that's a huge, huge, huge asset. So yeah, man, Damont's an amazing, powerful brother, man. Shout out to Damont.
Yeah, and let's break down that clip. I'm gonna go first when I talk about it. He was talking about not pattern himself after his older siblings.
Yeah.
And one thing about purpose, I had to learn that the very exact thing. I can't position myself to look like this person or that person. I had to walk in the lane that God has put me in. And that could easily be done where we get caught up in just walking in the lane like somebody else, because we see them and we loving what they're doing, and it was like, oh man, I want to be just like them.
Exactly.
But what we need to be is being just like the person that God called us to be. What needs to happen, we need to fall in love with the person that God has called us to be. And so easily we get caught up in our flaws and what we think are flaws, because we're so heavy, hard, and critical on ourselves that we miss the picture. We miss the picture of who God says we are. We miss where God says, this is who I designed you to be. And I love this about you, son. I love this about you, daughter. We miss that picture where we think, well, I'm not good enough because I'm not like them. I'm not good enough because I don't speak as powerful as them. But the way you speak is powerful in itself because God has given you that voice. And because God gave it to you, it's perfect. Yeah, we strengthen those things that he's given us. But we have to get to a point that we love what God has given us. And it's because it's so easy to want what somebody else has. We live in a world that's completely like that. They always want what somebody else has instead of wanting what God has for us. And I think because we're so busy trying to chase what somebody else has that we can't walk in the fullness or receive the full blessings that God has for us, because we're trying to walk in the path that somebody else has instead of what God has for us. And sometimes I love having coaches, but you also have to have a relationship with God so that you know who you are, so that you know the path that God has set before you, so that you can walk fully in that path. That's why it's so important to know who you are, to know what your purpose is, and to, more importantly, know who God is.
Yeah, I mean, and I think and as we talked about before, just relating it to the clip, as you said, like Damon was highlighting that, for everyone else to understand, similar to, to the experience that he had in his journey. Because like you said, like you can easily adapt to even other people's view of who they think you are. And then you become, you almost become a puppet for the people that are around you. Because as you said, if you don't identify who you are through God and finding your purpose, you're gonna be all over the place trying to appease this person, and you're gonna slither and function in spaces. And then you wake up and you're like, that's not even who I am. That's not even what I want to be. That's not even my message. I've gotten so caught up in other people's ideals of who they think I am, that I don't even know who I am anymore. And you may wake up and you're like, and some people have been effective in doing that. But then that takes away from, like you said, that takes away from what God has gifted you with and walking and living in that purpose. And to your point, you only can get purpose by tapping into your personal relationship with God and spending time understanding from Him who you're called to be. And everybody has the opportunity to do so, but not everybody takes that step. And I know for me, that's largely that's my mode of functioning every day. As we know, this is something that we do every day because there are different phases of your life where you're going to need to tap into things inside of you that can only be extrapolated through your relationship with Christ, through your relationship daily that you endeavor to have. For I had to take that journey. I know you had to take that journey. I'm not a great speaker. I don't even endeavor to be a speaker in that regard. But what I can do and what I'm comfortable with doing is speaking openly and honestly about me and wearing my emotions on my sleeve and demonstrating vulnerability and connecting with people in a way that kind of makes it easier to have certain conversations. I think that's largely why Chris and I go on so well. He's an amazing speaker as well on our platform. But for me, I think that my gift is connecting with people on a vulnerable level, because, I think people see me 6'3", 250 pounds, and like, this guy's, they don't expect. I think I'm a big teddy bear. I think I'm very much relatable. I think I'm very much easygoing and easy to talk to. And I think that, I only found that out through my relationship with Christ and through trying to figure out what my purpose is and what my passion is and how I can use what God has gifted me with to benefit someone else, man. So yeah, to your point, man, you can't be cookie cutter and adapt and use somebody else's ideal or somebody else's way of functioning and make it your own. Yeah, there are things you can benefit, how you can benefit from other people's stuff. Yes, but you got to tap into what you are and your individual, your individual calling, and you can only do that through relationship for sure.
Yeah, you speak in bars. Man, as we transition to the end,
Yeah,
bro, I just want you to know publicly that how much I appreciate you.
that's a blessing.
Like I said early in the episode, you've been there for me in some of my darkest moments,
Yes, sir.
and I don't take that for granted, and it means a lot to me. So man, I want you to have the last words. Speak to the people. Speak life
Okay.
into them. Hit that on the couch with Chizzy.
Yeah.
Do your thing.
Man, I just want to say, man, I thank you for the opportunity. Look, check me out on the Couch. If you don't know, I'm about to tell you what On the Couch is. On the Couch, for me, simply just means walking in your purpose and being able to function from a healing, healthy mental space. So everything you do is on the couch. Every opportunity you have comes from a space of being able to really, really tap into who you are and being vulnerable and taking your walk, your personal walk, your professional walk, your mental health walk, your spiritual health walk seriously day in and day out. That's what Only Culture endeavors to do. You can catch my clips, on my Instagram page, Shizzy BDA, also on TikTok as well. On the Couch, 60-second clips just to inspire, just to give you a little piece of inspiration, something that you can take and that could resonate with you every other day, just to keep you good. Because I know this life journey is hard, and when you sit on the couch, you want to feel like you can accomplish, you can be your best self, and you can live in your purpose, man. That's on the couch. And if you need anything you need, man, hit me up on social media. I'm pretty sure my guys can put a little link, little something on the bottom of this clip to say or whatever to say where you can find me. Check out Boy Man King podcast. Shout out to the team. Shout out to Noel. Shout out to Coach Crump. Shout out to Deani. Shout out to Cardi God, man. These are the people behind the scenes that help me to be able to get the inspiration and put out stuff so that every people can benefit from, man. I definitely want to tell you, look out for more On the Couch merch. The whole ethos is going to be when you wear it, when you see it, you're going to know that this particular individual is taking steps to ensuring that the mental health space is amazing and they can live and function on their purpose. That's the vibe for On the Couch, man. Look for more merch coming. Shout out to K Noel, man. I really, 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 really enjoyed sitting with you. You're my brother from another mother and talking to you on this particular platform. And I wish you all the success, man. The journey continues, but it only continues when you identify your purpose.
Absolutely, no doubt, bruh. And again, I thank you for joining us on Relentless Conversations. As for the listeners, the watchers, you already know how we do. No matter what time of the day it is, you make the best of it. You leave no days left behind. You know how we do it. You be relentless. I'm your host, K Noel, your relentless motivator. And you know what I'm about to say. We are out.
Ayy, aren't you glad? I'm bringing it back. My chains in the past. Yeah. Got my confidence back.